Hello, my beauties. So today the guides want to talk about following the breadcrumbs of your intuition. So often I get asked, have you always been intuitive? Yes, I have. Have I always been conscious of that intuition? Absolutely not. No, I haven't. So I believe that we are all intuitive. It's just learning how our intuition works with us, what intuitive pathways we connect with, and allowing that to really support you as you navigate through life rather than really coming up against the obstacles of what you wish you had instead. So if you come for a session with me, I get this streamline to the divine, I call it, where I just kind of spit out everything that's coming in. I just channel through their wisdom. And it's just kind of is almost like the second voice that's talking through me at times. So the natural assumption would be that's how I live my life. I'm always this streamlined, connected, even in my own life. And that's not quite the case. I will say I'm very fortunate because if I ask things and there's an explanation, they often will provide me an auditory response with that, or I'll see a visual. But a lot of things that I need to kind of open up to and connect to myself, they kind of leave these little breadcrumbs for me to find, which makes it really exciting when you kind of put on your spiritual detective cap. Because when you can connect those pathways yourself, or when you see the connection between different things, it can be really exciting. And that aha can really help you shift in a different way than if someone is just telling you everything all the time. So when I was really little, I used to have a lot of premonitions through my dreams, and it really overwhelmed me. And I actually thought that I was a terrible person and I was, causing these really horrific things in our life to happen. And, when you are 8, 9, 10 years old and you're dreaming about people in a hospital and it comes true, it's really hard for you to understand that those are your guides cautioning you about what's going to happen rather than you feeling like this, I dreamt this, I created this, so I'm a bad person. And I think I was about 10 years old at the time where I was like my last straw. I couldn't do it anymore. I was so overwhelmed by feeling everything all the time, by seeing things all the time, that I sat in my bedroom just full of tears. And I just asked God to take my gifts away from me. And I instantly felt this regret, but I didn't know how else to navigate the world with them. And I was so scared to tell my parents what was happening because I thought I was going to get in trouble because of what I dreamed that came true in reality. So the one kind of connector that I had left after I shut down a lot of the vision, a lot of, hearing and like seeing and the sight, was my gut intuition. And that gut feeling was the one thing that I held on to that really helped me navigate myself out of some pretty intense situations. And so I always kind of clung to that fact that I thought I knew that that was my intuitive pathway, only to learn that later on in life that that actually is my last red flag that they bring in. So I was ignoring all the other possibilities, but that one gut kind of punch for me, or that tightness in my stomach, was the last red flag that I would get if I was heading into a dangerous situation or a situation that wasn't in my highest and greatest good. So back on track. So the breadcrumbs. And part of that, it's not about knowing all the answers here and now. It's not always being told everything. We often want that advice. As kids, people tell us what to do and we do it. So we assume that's the way our intuition should work. But it's really about just being in that state of flow and just navigating, and these little pieces that come in to connect us into our soul's connection, our soul's path, or to kind of like recenter us back. So I'm going to tell you a super fun story because this is kind of just revealing itself now. And my first hit on this was 3 years ago. So I was on layover in the UK, and the beautiful Natalie Miles was hosting a circle that night. So I, in all my jet lag glory, signed up last minute and I head over to Little Venice, and I had this amazing, amazing circle that I was able to attend. And what came forward was a spirit guide named Salandria. Now, I have a very strong connection to the angelic realm, the archangels. I don't know them through any religious sector, like they came in later life for me. It's been really fun exploring the world with them. Like they are very fierce, powerful beings that I just adore. But I also have always had this other side of loving aliens, of really connecting to kind of more galactic-y things. So I wasn't really too sure where that stemmed from. So when Slandria came forward, I call her S because she says I'm still pronouncing her name wrong. She showed up in all this magnificence and this tight magenta pink jumpsuit, beautiful hair. She's very tall, has such an amazing presence to her. And she said that she comes from the Orion galaxy. And so I just thought this was so cool because she's so different from any of the other guides that I had worked with. And she really had that galactic space. And when I was asking her a little bit about what her support was for me, she basically said, like, I'm here to hip check you back on path. And I often will see her just do this like hip check to get me back in alignment. Sometimes it's more forceful, than sometimes it's a slight nudge. But like really her vibrancy is about that alignment and kind of like hurting me in through hip checks. It's like it's super playful. I really love her energy. So I will say, like, I just kind of accepted that and call her in, and I didn't really explore that further. And so this week, I will say it's like it's all kind of coming together, and I'm just like blown away because this is what they'll do. They'll give you like kind of this carrot, and you hold on to it. It's something that makes an impression. And then your energy will calibrate and navigate into that. So often, like even with the Akashic Records, I had a session probably also 3 years before my teacher opened up to being ready to reteach the records. And both of us needed to go through so much to get to that space. So, what will often happen is we'll have this snippet, this seed planted, and then everything can reveal. So, back to us, this beautiful, magnificent galactic goddess in a beautiful magenta pink jumpsuit. So basically, so I was guided to pre-order Diana Cooper's Archangel deck. And I was a little bit like confused. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'll order it. I don't typically use Oracle cards very much in my own life, though I have a drawer full of them. And I was just kind of curious. And I always like to greet my deck when it arrives. And I apparently got it before it was released. So that's super fun. And I was just going through each angel, like really connecting with their energy and just saying hello and shuffling the deck through. So this magnificent being, Archangel Mariel, was one of the ones that really lit up in the deck for me. And I hadn't worked with him. I haven't heard of him before. So I was just kind of taking that pause, but I said hello, put him back in, and then I shuffled to see which being is in the highest and greatest good to come through for me. And guess who decided to make an appearance? This magnificent being right here. So the card itself, so this is often where we can get caught up because I find sometimes the cards and the descriptor in the book can have very different energies. And I really feel like the deck is a little bit light, like has a very light energy, but then the presence is in Diana's guidebook. So I found that a very interesting contrast. But the card itself, manifest for the highest good, work with pure love. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I get that, but what does that mean? So I'm gonna read to you right now. So Archangel Mariel is a glorious magenta angel. The pink and the magenta affirms that he works with the highest and purest love, while the electric blue demonstrates the power of manifestation. He has come from another universe to assist all of us to ascension. He steps down through Orion. And it was like Salandra like showed up as soon as I read that with like Mariel in this beautiful magenta. And then I was guided to look at, I use Aurosoma products and to look at my year Aurosoma. And it is this beautiful deep magenta. So all of the lights are going off with this beautiful channel of magenta light. And when I was asking what this calibration of this energy is, it's really about recentering ourselves back into who we are, back into divine love, and really anchoring, our essence into our being. We can get so caught up in trying to emulate and be other people or think we need to go down here. So the whole energy of this is to kind of hip check us back on track and really embody into, our gifts and what we're here to do. So I am like so thrilled and in love that 3 years later, after this beautiful connection that consciously came through with us, that all of a sudden we have a magenta angel that rocks the pathway of pure divine love, and then the Aurosoma to support that for this year. And even though right now I'm just playing with it, I'm in calling it in and I'm feeling the energy of the magenta light, it wouldn't be something that I necessarily would have consciously tapped into or gotten curious of had they not led me down this trail. And when I find that they give me these snippets and these breadcrumbs for me to follow, it allows me to get really excited because I think I'm discovering something. Meanwhile, they're the ones like placing it all out. But it helps me really soften and get curious and lean into it in a more, allowing my heart to really open up to it because it feels really solid and connected for me. And had they given me all that information back then, we can often bypass it or move forward and forgetting that it even comes in. So often, once again, they'll give you that little snippet of wisdom that needs to come through for you to recalibrate and your like basically your energy to navigate to where you need to be before the next piece comes in. So, like I said, consciously, I'm still asking them a little bit more about this magenta energy. Orion's connection, I know, has been really always strong for me. And now it's just like next level. So the fact that there's just all these beautiful, okay, I'm gushing. I can talk forever about this, so I will stop. But this is what happens with following your intuition. It isn't about knowing all the answers here and now. It's allowing yourself to really be guided, to really move and kind of flow with it and relax into it, knowing that you are held. That might bring up trust issues, that might bring up beliefs of all the things you feel that you haven't been supported on. And then those are great opportunities to heal that part of you that feels like you haven't been held. I have had to do a lot of that work. But I will say life is always so much more magnificent when I really allow myself to surrender with this co-creation with the divine. So yeah, I would say if you feel called to play with the magenta light, I often just see the channel come in and I suss out my energy, and it really feels like it veers, like I feel it as almost this, not a compressor in a bad way, but just like this activator of really connecting you with your essence. And let me know if it's coming for you. I always find when I ask, people will share their stories with it. But yeah, like I'm just excited and I wanted to share, and the guides wanted to say, like, really follow the breadcrumbs because you never will know or quite believe where they're going to leave you. So I'm going to leave you with that. I love you so, so much. Thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. Bye.